Hello, this is RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy. Hey guys, so today we are finally bringing you our review for the Pixel 2 XL. And the main thing about this phone is we're going to go over everything from the display controversy to the camera quality and is it really that good, the battery life, and of course how it compares to everything else on the market. Now before we get to that, I do want to give a shout out to our sponsor, which is Cyberlink and their new software, PowerDirect 16. Now this software is really good because it's very simple and easy to use for anyone editing. It's won plenty of awards over the past 8 years. It's won PC Magazine's Editor's Choice Award. But the biggest thing that I was impressed by is the fact that it can even edit 360-degree videos, which is very rare for a software at this price point. Now I also want to let you know that they are actually giving away a free version of this PowerDirect 16 for one lucky winner. So to enter that giveaway, go ahead and check out the description down below and enter to win. Alright, now that we got that, let's get to the biggest part of this phone possibly, and that is the display. Now, the display has had many issues. I recently did a video on how you can actually fix the display with the third-party software, and that fixes the entire thing with the color being very dull, very underwhelming, and straight up bad. Here's the thing. A lot of people said, did I overreact in that display? No, because the display was so bad that an IPS display was way better than it. There was so much issues with the display, and still the blue tilt thing is happening. I don't care about that. If you do, if it affects you, then by all means don't get this one, and you can get the smaller one. You can get the Pixel 2 and it doesn't have these issues. It seems the Pixel XL 2 has all the main issues. However, the display overall is improving, and I said that in my tech rant video that I did think that Google will fix it with the software issue after I went on my entire rant where I was pissed off about it. So overall, I do think the software improvement is coming because a third-party developer already fixed a lot of it for me, and hopefully the full software update will fix it entirely. Now what about the camera? We get a lot about the camera and saying like, oh, it's the best camera out there. And, you know, a lot of tech YouTubers have said that. It's the best camera out there. Oh, DxOMark is right on the mark and all this kind of, you know, stuff. It's great. It has a major flaw still, and I will not say, as of right now, it is not the best camera out there. Let me go through this. So first of all, HDR, second to none. Look at this kind of shot, like the blues, everything, the green, everything looks amazing when it comes to HDR shots. It's really good at it. And so that I will say it's second to none really when it comes to HDR. However, when you go through other types of photos, that's where it really brings in. So the low light, as long as you don't have a light in there, you're great. You don't have any issues. But what if you have a light in there? So as you see, if you can see in the back in here, you have a little light coming out towards the top. Now that can be, again, not too bad, but where it really shines is when you have a big light right in the middle of your shot is screwed. It is completely screwed. And look, other YouTubers that may have done these camera reviews or other people that did these camera reviews, maybe they tapped it, did the focus, changed the EV, all that kind of stuff. I do these photos how I expect you guys to do these photos. Take out the camera, point, shoot, that's it. Nothing else. I don't tap to focus. I don't do anything else because I don't know if you guys will. I know how I take my photos and how I post them, and when they look really nice on Instagram and all that kind of stuff. I do a lot of things to make sure that my photos turn out great. But for these photo reviews, I don't do what I normally do. I just take it, auto focus, and take the shot. That's it. Everything is automated because that is what you guys are going to do most of the time. So that's what you get from the Pixel when you don't fine tune it, when you don't do anything else. And that's a really big issue because this is the same issue we had with the Pixel XL last year. The lens flare is ridiculous. Now this could again be fixed with a software issue. One thing that Google said all year last year with the Pixel XL never really happened on my Pixel XL, but that's a big issue in my opinion, and it's still there, it's still prevalent, and again, this is without fine-tuning the shot or changing the EV on your shot or doing anything like that. This is what you get out of the box. Now that being said, when you don't have that, it looks amazing. This indoor shot is absolutely amazing. It makes me want something from the counter right here, possibly that or that up there. But yeah, so really it's awesome. When it's indoors and it takes a shot, it's great. It's perfect for that. So keep that in mind, that depending on how you take the shot, if you don't have a strong light in your shot, it's going to come out great. Now that being said, what about the blur effect? What about this blur effect with one lens? Now, Google is new to this, but people have been doing it for a long time. I think it was the S5 from Samsung way back in the day that was the first phone that I know of that had that blur effect with one lens. But Google has obviously had a lot of time to perfect it, and by far, with one lens, it is the best blur effect that I have seen. Now, keeping that in mind, though, you really have to keep this, that it's going to go bad at times, too. We did 2 mall shots. One time, this blurred out my entire side of my head, and the second time, it blurred out the top of my head. So, regardless, it's not going to be the best ever, but it's going to, when it works, it really does work. I just wish you could fine-tune it instead of the on blur, off blur, that you could fine-tune the blur like other phone manufacturers have done lately. The selfie blur, however, though, is pretty much the best I've ever seen. The selfie blur is better than the S8, than the Note 8. We haven't tested it out the iPhone X yet, of course, but that is saying something. The selfie blur is the best we have seen it on for a front-facing camera selfie. So overall, you have to give them credit for that. If you want to take blur selfies, it's probably the best when it comes to that. Now, what about the battery life? Well, the battery life is really good, great even, not the best. Overall, how we test out battery life is how we think you'll test out battery life. So how is that? Well, I make sure to do gaming, I make sure to do social media, and of course I make sure to do streaming. So on this, you can see right here, the screen on time was almost 6 hours, which is really good. It definitely beats out any standard smartphone, and it's right up there with some of the best phablets on the market. Is it the best? No. Phones like the Note 8 actually lasted a full hour longer than it, but this rivals the S8 Plus. So just to give you an idea of how the battery is. Now, with this, we did over 2 hours of streaming. We did an hour, no, 2 hours an hour and a half of gaming, and then an hour and a half of social media. So just to give an idea, and the rest were, you know, doing photos and that kind of stuff when we were using it out in the go. So overall, it was a really good battery life, lasting about 10 hours. So if you're a heavy user like this would be, you are going to get a full day out of it for the most part. But again, sparingly, depending on how you use it, you might need to charge up at the end of the night, but you'll definitely need to charge it before you go out the next day. So all that being said, then what is the conclusion? Is the Pixel XL 2 one of the best phones you should get out there? I still call it the Pixel XL 2, not the Pixel 2 XL, but is it one of the phones you should be getting out in the market right now? Well, to be honest, for the Google purist, you definitely would love this phone. It's great for you. It's awesome for you. But then you're also going to have phones like the OnePlus 5T that have much more RAM than it coming out shortly. So you have to consider everything else out there, right? I'm really excited to see this new Razer phone. There is a lot of new phones coming out this holiday season that you really have to compare this to, even if you just want a stock-like experience. And overall, I've never been a Google purist. I've always liked OSs on top of it, like OnePlus, or even skins more like Samsung's. HTC okay, and LG with the interface, but I'll take Nova Launcher over this any day of the week in terms of the interface and how it looks. So overall, Google Pixel is really going to be a phone, I think, more for the purists. Is there phones at this price point that have more? Absolutely. There's wireless charging that you're missing from this phone. There's better water resistance. There's things like an S Pen. There are other things, better dual cameras, things like that are out there and available. But if you want Google Android pure experience, that's the reason you get this phone. But other than that, I don't know how many people I can recommend it for. When it comes to the screen, I do believe it'll be fixed. When it comes to the camera, it's one of the best out there, but it's not the best just because that lens flare is atrocious and it really messes up any low light shot with a strong light source in it. Battery life is great, but not the best again. And again, it gives you that pure Android experience. If that's what you're looking for, that's why you should get it. Or else, it's just the rest. If you want the Google experience, that's when it's the best. Alright guys, let me know your thoughts. Are you planning on getting the Pixel XL 2, or did you already get another phone, or do you want to see what else is coming out there this holiday season? We do have the comparison coming out for the Note 8 versus this phone, as well as the iPhone X in the coming weeks, so make sure to subscribe if you haven't. Thank you as always for watching. This has been RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy. Thank you for watching our video. If you liked it, why don't you go ahead and subscribe up there. Make sure you follow us on social media right here. And of course, check out our latest video up there. And right down here, you're going to find the perfect video for you. Or at least that's what YouTube tells me. Thanks again.